A lack of public disclosure puts the San Antonio Fire Union's political spending in question.
Our organization, Secure San Antonio's Future, is out there saying vote no on these 3 propositions because it damages the future of this city dramatically.
While Kawhi Leonard can now officially earn the richest deal in basketball, his standoff with the Spurs continues.
I can't wait until next week. I can't wait till we see Kawhi in public at that USA event because that's going to reveal a lot. And now is the time. You got to talk about it now.
And a childhood favorite turns out to be a perfect marriage for your barbecue.
Elvis was right. Peanut butter truly does make everything taste better, even pork ribs.
I'm Chance Storlin with your Express Briefing for Wednesday, July 18th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. This spring, an army of signature gatherers made its way across San Antonio to persuade tens of thousands of residents to support a push for 3 proposed charter amendments that will likely appear on November's ballot, in a serious political effort driven by the San Antonio Professional Firefighters Association. But the vast majority of the signatures were collected by people working for Texas Petition Strategies, a firm that specializes in petition campaigns. And now, 3 months after the petition work was completed, there's still no public disclosure about payments to the company, a move that is required by law. While Tuesday, 2 sources reported the fire union spent as much as $500,000 on the petition campaign, San Antonio Express News City Hall reporter Josh Baugh says without public disclosure, there's no way to know exactly where the money came from. On this week's episode of the Puro Politics podcast, Josh Baugh spoke with political consultant Christian Archer about his work for the Secure San Antonio's Future Pact to defeat the 3 proposed charter amendments from the fire union.
You're running this campaign along with Kelton Morgan, who's, I think, a longtime close friend of yours, but y'all have never worked together. Yeah. He's kind of considered one of the preeminent Republican strategists. You're the preeminent Democratic strategist.
This is probably, and I mean this sincerely, one of the toughest campaigns I've ever worked on. The firefighters that are putting this on the ballot have got a bumper sticker message. We don't have a bumper sticker message. You got to invest. Give me a few minutes of your time to understand these. And if you're not willing to invest a little bit of time to understand the impacts, probably you're going to go in and vote yes. I need a little bit of time to explain. This is what this prop does. This is what this prop does. And then people are like, oh, no, we don't want that as a city because it sets us back. The website's coming up. We're going to launch it first part of August and really kick off the campaign in the coming weeks. Our campaign will be the faces of San Antonio, and it will be on the geographic differences, ethnic differences, age differences. It affects everybody uniquely badly. Right? And so our job as the campaign is to make sure that if you're a senior on the north side of town, you understand the impact it's going to have on you.
Hear more of the discussion on Puro Politics, available for free download at expressnews.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. Had it happened 6 months ago, Monday would have been a red-letter day for Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, as the passing of the 3rd-year anniversary of the last contract he signed means Leonard has now officially become eligible for the most lucrative deal in basketball, a supermax extension worth $221 million over 5 years, in what would be the largest contract handed out in Spurs history. But instead, the standoff between the Spurs and their franchise player continues unabated, with Leonard, through his representatives, having made no change to his earlier request to be traded away from San Antonio. But the Spurs, meanwhile, appear hesitant to empty the vault for a player who played in only 9 games last season while rehabbing a perplexing quadriceps injury under the care of outside medical staff and figurative cloak of darkness in New York. But all that could change next week, when Kawhi Leonard may appear at USA Basketball Camp in Las Vegas. Here's San Antonio Express News Spurs beat reporter Jabari Young.
From what I know and talking to people behind the scenes, he is scheduled to be in Las Vegas next week. when camp starts, along with Greg Popovich. So if he talks while he's there, get ready, because you're going to finally hear from the man himself, as well as Greg Popovich. But I think it's smart for Kawhi Leonard and Greg Popovich to both talk at this thing. You know why? Because if you do have to come into the season with him, knock it out the way now, so that way it takes less off of media day and first day of training camp. Because you're going to be asked about it, whether you be asked about it then or asked about it now. You knock it off now. You do what you got to do now. Talk about it now. Kill any rumor that you want to kill now before training camp starts. So that way you can get out of the way. And so that way, come training camp, you can say, hey, we talked about this months ago in July. We're not talking about it now. We're talking about the season now. Kawhi Leonard is here. We mentioned what we mentioned, and that's that. So that's going to be interesting come next week. So we'll see how it progresses.
Hear more of Jabari Young's thoughts on Kawhi Leonard and how the Spurs are rebuilding their team on this week's episode of the Spurs Insider, available for free download at expressnews.com/podcasts. And it's now official. Smoky meat and peanut butter and jelly make a perfect marriage.
Welcome to Chuck's Food Shack, and we're going to do a peanut butter and jelly pork rib. These are a St. Louis style cut, nice and square. First thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to take the silver skin off of the pork ribs. And the dry rub's real simple. Equal parts paprika, garlic powder, kosher salt, black pepper. You want to let it sit at room temperature for about 30-35 minutes. We're going to want to smoke it for 1 hour at about 250 degrees on whatever wood you choose. After an hour, you want to mop them with like a lager beer, and then you're going to want to close the lid and mop it for a second hour. After the second hour, that's when we're going to get the peanut butter in. The peanut butter sauce is super simple. A cup of peanut butter, a cup of the jelly, and then you're going to want about a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, kosher salt, black pepper, and maybe a little bit of garlic powder. And just layer it out like you're making your own peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Wrap it up like you're folding up a birthday present. And we're going to put it back on the smoker for another hour before we come and get it. After about an hour of the ribs being in the foil on the smoker, give them another coating of the peanut butter sauce, and then put them back on the smoker for another hour. And then after that, they should be done. The peanut butter, the jelly, it's hitting the pork flavor. Delectable. This is Chuck Blount with the Express News Taste Team, and thanks for watching another episode of Chuck's Food Shack. We'll see you next time.
And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Wednesday, July 18th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.